Hey people, it's Steel Gamer here, and I wanted to talk about something that's been pissing me off for an extremely long time when it comes to MMOs, and that is there is actually no such thing as a PVE server in any MMO game. And the reason why I put this under WoW is simply because this is the main game that started a lot of the stuff. It's not the only game, but it's the main base game that started a lot of this PvP shit, and then trying to advertise servers as having PvE. So what I'm about to talk about is probably going to go over a lot of people's heads because they're not going to grasp the concept of what I'm talking about, because they're going to only be focusing on the fact that you can still do some form of element in there instead of realizing what I'm talking about. So I'm actually going to use a very simple comparison to a PvE and PvP server using a pen. And what that pen is that if you advertise a pen as being pure red, a certain pure shade of pure red, that pen is pure red. That's what you advertise it as. The instant you add the smallest drop of another color to that pen, it is no longer a pure red pen, and you can't sell it as such. Even if the amount is so small, it doesn't even show up. The fact that you added it to the pen's coloring system means you've now nullified the term pure red. Why that's the same as a PvE server is because PvE servers, in the truest sense, are like a pure red pen. There's nothing else permeating or infiltrating it or tainting it. The instant you add PvP to a PvE server, it is the equivalency of adding a drop of blue ink or another colored ink other than the shade it is to the pen and then saying it's still pure red. You introduce PvP, any form of PvP element, no matter how small, including the letters PvP, into the chat, you have now permeated and tainted the PvE server, so it is no longer an actual straight up PvE server and thus cannot really be advertised as much. Now, people will always try to argue, well, you still have to ask. That's not fucking, that has no valid point to this. The fact that you can ask is the problem. All PvP elements do not belong on something as PvE and then still have the audacity to call it a PvE thing. Again, this is like the red pen. You cannot call a pure red pen pure red if you've tainted it with another color, no matter how small the element of the color is or how much of it. It's no longer a pure red pen. You can say, well, it still writes red. It's not pure red, period. You can say it's a PvE server, but it's not, because you fucked it up with PvP. Going on a PvE server and trying to say that's not a PvP server is the equivalency of going to a PvP server and saying that's not PvP just because I can do PvE because I don't have to ask. Whether or not you have to ask doesn't change the fact that the PvP is still there. And PvP is embedded into every fucking server in WoW, in every server in any MMO game, trying to be advertised as something it is not. So, game developers, for some reason, if you fucking wind up with this video, stop fucking putting PvP into every fucking server. There's no reason to have PvP servers separate, say there's a PvE server, and then allowing PvP into all of them. There's no such thing as a PvE server. Every fucking server has PvP in it. So, asking or not, toggling the option off or not, doesn't fucking matter. Allowing players to even talk about PvP in a PvE server taints it, because there are not supposed to be any trace elements of anything PvP of any kind, no matter how small or how large, in a PvE server if you're going to call it a PvE server. Once you permeate or taint it, it's no longer PvE. Doesn't matter whether you have to ask or turn it off. It's as simple as that. So, developers, stop fucking making every server in every game PvP. Your game isn't going to fucking die. Oh no, we don't have PvP on the server, gotta put it in there. Let's advertise it as PvE. No, fuck you. You got separate servers for PvP. Keep everything fucking PvP away from PvE. Period. It's fucking annoying. And yeah, I'm a little pissed at this because I'm fucking sick and tired of seeing this shit in MMOs. It's one of the main reasons I don't play MMOs. I fucking hate PvP in games. It solves nothing. It proves nothing. It does not make you a good fucking player. It means, great, I can click buttons. Oh, it requires skill. No, it fucking doesn't. Your button presses don't happen faster than another person, and it doesn't prove you're better than somebody just because you happen to fucking get them. It doesn't do a fucking thing, and it's pointless. Show people, oh, it's fun and everything else. It doesn't fucking prove anything. Keep fucking PvP out of PvE servers, or stop calling them PvE servers. Just have fucking one big thing, and then that's it. But if you're gonna fucking call them as PvE servers, stop fucking adding PvP to the fucking things and then trying to say they're PvE. It fucking pisses me off. Hey, how's it going, viewer? I'm just basically about to end this because, unless you have something to input on this, just to catch you up to speed, you don't have to watch the whole thing. Basically, I'm sick and tired of MMOs advertising they have PvE servers and then fucking saying, you know, it's PvE while allowing PvP into it. The comparison I made, it's like trying to sell a pure red pen with a drop of blue ink in it and then saying, oh, it's still a red pen because it writes ink. Oh, it's still a PvE server because you can do PvE. It's not a fucking PvE server anymore if you've added PvP. Every fucking server in WoW is a PvP server. Every fucking one of them. And every single game in every MMO, they're all fucking PvP servers no matter what the title of it says. All PvP elements should never be involved in any PvE environments at all, period. If you do, it's no longer a PvE environment because PvE strictly means player versus environment only. So even typing the words PvP into chat permeates and infiltrates and destroys the whole concept of what PvE is. So yeah, I just bitched out fucking... The reason this isn't WoW is because this is baseline the game that started it. But the fact of the matter is, adding PvP to a fucking game destroys the PvP element in it. Even though it doesn't directly involve it, you can't advertise something as being PvE because it has PvP in it. It's no longer a PvE. It's PvE PvP. So this whole... It amazes me how game developers aren't forced by law to separate PvP from this shit. When I go to play a PvE environment, I don't want to see two players fucking talking about PvP shit. Go to there's no reason to have a fucking PvP server if you, and then try to separate them if you're just going to allow fucking PvP in all of them. Just fucking make every server, just label every server fucking PvP because that's what it is. So it's like gamers don't want to see this point that I'm making because they're too tainted by it. Now, the thing here with WoW is there are some achievements that you're going to want to get if you're on a PvE server because you have to actually turn PvP on. Remove that fucking section of the game from PvE or don't put the fucking achievements in that server. Don't allow you to get them in there. You want that shit, go to a fucking PvP server. So the point is that it doesn't fit. That's the whole thing. So if you as the viewers want to type anything else in the chat, I'll give you a few minutes because I've been ranting here. But it's really fucking pissing me off that this shit's been ongoing since fucking day one. So I'm just gonna wait for you the viewer if you have anything you want to say. Sorry, I'm tired too, so that's another reason. But the main reason I'm acting like this is because it's just fucking ridiculous. It's like, come on, developers, smarten the fuck up. How do you pull this shit and then try to fucking say, well, it's still PvE because you can do it? I can fucking go to a PvP server and do PvE and say that's the fucking same. It's literally the same fucking thing. Just because you have to ask or don't ask doesn't change what you fucking did. It's still fucking PvP. So, even if you have to toggle the option to even be asked to duel off, doesn't change the fact that it's still in the fucking server. So it amazes me, how fucking people ignore this. Like, it's still PvE, it's PvE. No, it's not. Then how come you're allowed to ask for PvP then? That makes no logical sense. So, I mean, there's only so much I can say about this. So again, you're the viewer. If you want to input anything in, feel free. But if not, I'm basically going to end the stream because there's really nothing left to talk about on this. So I said my piece on this. But, I don't know. Game developers need to fucking smarten up. My whole channel's filled with developer hate anyway. Somebody's like, you always find problems in games. They're like acting like I make up problems and go looking for them. No, I happen to find them because they're there. It's like beta testing or play testing or reporting, or what's called early development. It's like people think I like make this shit up and look for it. No, I play the game and I pick it out as it comes across because I look at things differently than everybody else. But this is one thing that's always pissed me off, and no matter how many ways I brought it up, people fucking don't get it, or they get it and they're just trolling. But there are some people who literally believe straight up PVE can have PvP in it and still only be PvE. It's fucking ridiculous. No, if it's PvP's involved, it isn't PvE anymore. Well, you don't have to do PvP. Is PvP stolen the server? Yeah, then it's not fucking PvE. So I don't know, man. It's just hilarious. Well, that's about the extent of that, and I'm gonna end this. So this is TL Gamer. Have a good day or night, guys. Talk to you later.